Good day, students. This is mathematics class for grade 9, chapter 1, number systems. We have learned the different types of numbers or the number systems, such as natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers. So today, let us learn a new category of numbers, that is the real numbers. The real numbers include all categories of numbers. All categories means the natural numbers, whole numbers, fractions, the rational numbers, integers. So it includes all categories of numbers. So we know that the rational numbers, we have learned what are rational numbers. So these rational numbers can be expressed in the form P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0. Isn't it? Yes. And there's one more category of numbers. We can say the special type of numbers, that is the irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. Now, what are these irrational numbers? Here, the rational numbers are expressed in the form P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0. But irrational numbers are not expressible in the form P by Q. They are not expressible. These are not expressible in the form P by Q, and Q is not equal to 0. So this is a special category of numbers. The collection of the all rational numbers and all irrational numbers together make up what we call the real numbers. Did you get this, students? Yes. Okay. Now let us learn in detail about the rational numbers and the irrational numbers. I told you the rational numbers are expressed in the form P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0, but irrational numbers are not expressible in the form P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0. So let us see why. Now here, in rational numbers, the decimal expansion is terminating. The decimal expansion is terminating. Terminating means which ends, terminating. As well as non-terminating and repeating. Non-terminating and repeating. But in irrational numbers, irrational numbers, the decimal expansion is non-terminating, and non-repeating, and non-repeating. So the difference here, the rational numbers, it is terminating, non-terminating, repeating, and irrational numbers, it is non-terminating and non-repeating. So the examples for irrational numbers are root 2, root 21, pi. All these are irrational numbers. Did you get this, students? Root 2, root 21 and pi. Now, let us understand in detail about the decimal expansion of numbers now. Just remember this, the rational numbers, the decimal expansion is terminating, non-terminating, repeating, and in irrational numbers it is non-terminating and non-repeating, and the examples for irrational numbers are root 2, root 21, etc. Okay, now let us learn in detail about the decimal expansion of the numbers. Decimal expansion of numbers. So, decimal expansion of numbers. The decimal expansion of a number can be either, I told you all, it is terminating, second one, non-terminating, and non-repeating, or we can say non-recurring also. Next one is non-terminating and repeating. So here terminating is the rational number, non-terminating and non-repeating is the irrational numbers, and non-terminating, repeating is rational numbers. So here let us see the terminating decimal. Now terminating decimal, a decimal expansion in which a remainder becomes 0. In this, the remainder becomes 0. For example, 54 divided by 9. So let us divide this. So 9 6 are 54, and now the remainder is 0. As remainder is 0, this is a terminating decimal. So terminating decimal is always a rational number. Is always a rational number. Did you get this, students? It is always a rational number. And here, and this rational number can be written in the form P by Q. I told you, isn't it? So P by Q, which means 54 divided by 9. Here P is equal to 54 and Q is equal to 9. And here Q is not equal to 0. So it is equal to 9. So this is a rational number. Did you get this, students? Okay. Now let us see what is the definition of irrational number before going through the non-terminating and non-repeating decimal. So, irrational number. What is an irrational number? A number is called irrational. A number is called irrational if it cannot be written in the form P by Q, where P and Q are integers and Q is not equal to 0. Just write down the definition of what is irrational. A number, let us take the number as S. Okay, the number S is called irrational. Number S is called irrational if it cannot be written in the form P by Q, where P and Q are integers and Q is not equal to 0. So this is the definition of what is an irrational number. So in decimal expansion of numbers, we had 3 decimal expansions. That was the terminating decimal, non-terminating, non-repeating, and non-terminating, repeating. So we learned the first one, the terminating decimal, and rest of the 2 I told you I will teach you after the definition of the irrational number. So this is irrational number. I told you irrational number cannot be expressed in the form P by Q as the rational numbers. So let me continue in the next video. The next topic, that is the non-terminating and non-repeating decimal, as well as non-terminating and repeating decimal. Okay, so thank you, students.